Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino, and boy do we have a heck of a rain and windstorm on the way for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. Let's get to the details. Here's our surface map as of 8 a.m. this morning, and as you can clearly see, high pressure is sitting over the Northern Mid-Atlantic and just moving off the East Coast. As a result, most locations have clear skies this morning, and temperatures were able to crash into the teens to lower 20s for lows this morning. However, that's the coldest it is going to get for the Northern Atlantic over the next 24 to 48 hours, because an area low pressure that is currently developing over the southern plains will track to the west of the Northern Mid-Atlantic, producing a strong southwesterly flow over the Northern Mid-Atlantic and drawing up a ton of warm, moist air. Now, this high pressure system moving east is extremely important because it's going to warm the boundary layer ahead of this storm. So there is no threat at all whatsoever of any type of snowfall with this storm. Let's take a look at the water vapor satellite picture because I want to point out a few interesting features. This is the water vapor satellite picture as of 8:30 a.m. and this yellow line here is basically the jet stream. And what we have a very strong disturbance sitting over the southwestern United States. Now, notice the majority of the moisture with this storm so far is basically coming from the Pacific. There is no moisture being tapped from the Gulf of Mexico or from the Atlantic at this time. In fact, the Gulf of Mexico is pretty dry considering it's near tropical air. So it's clearly showing that there really isn't much in the way of moisture advection yet with this storm. A key, yet. As this disturbance that's sitting over the southwest moves towards the Mississippi River Valley, a ton of moisture is going to be pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico into the Northern Mid-Atlantic, which will support very heavy rainfall by tomorrow morning. So clouds will increase throughout the day today. A few isolated showers will be possible by this afternoon and early in the evening. However, by midnight tonight, this is the NAM model guidance as of about 1 a.m., the moisture will finally reach the Northern Mid-Atlantic. We'll start to see showers become widespread, rain begin to pick up in intensity, and the heavy rainfall will generally be focused after midnight tonight on through tomorrow morning. And this is by tomorrow morning around 7 to 8 a.m. And our low pressure system is rapidly intensifying. It's sitting over Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And notice our freezing line at the mid-levels and at the lower levels, by the way, is well to the north of the Northern Atlantic. So this is clearly all rain here. But we also are going to have very heavy rainfall. Now, I want to point out something very interesting at 850 millibars. What I have circled here is a strong jet streak at the mid-levels of the atmosphere. It's basically going to be set up to the southeast of the 850 millibar low. Why is this important? Well, these winds range anywhere from 55 to 70 knots. Now, when we get very heavy rainfall, some of that wind is going to get mixed down to the surface, which can create very strong wind gusts. So I'm expecting sustained winds anywhere from 15 to 30 miles per hour. Many locations are going to be around 20 miles per hour tomorrow morning through early tomorrow afternoon. But the wind gusts, especially when we have very heavy downpours, will possibly exceed 70 miles per hour in a few isolated locations, most likely along the immediate coast. But more likely you'll see 50, 45, 60 mile per hour wind gusts throughout the morning tomorrow, so driving conditions are going to be just awful. Also, we're going to have very warm air move into the Northern Mid-Atlantic, and that's going to create a very unstable atmosphere, especially over the Philadelphia metropolitan area, and that may support the potential for some isolated to widely scattered strong thunderstorms, and these thunderstorms are going to be capable of producing very heavy downpours, reducing visibility to below a mile, isolated lightning strikes, and wind gusts even more enhanced than what we're seeing here. So clearly we are dealing with a very dangerous situation with very strong winds, very heavy rain. We're going to have to deal with flash flooding, minor wind damage and even some coastal flooding with this storm. And we could also see by tomorrow morning that we finally tap into the Gulf of Mexico, which draws up a ton of moisture. Also notice we have very strong lifting at the mid-levels with this storm over the northern Mid-Atlantic. But then let's move about 6 hours later. This is about 1 p.m. at 700 millibars, and notice we have the green drop off to white over parts of central Pennsylvania. This is an indication of very strong dry air transport or dry air advection. And what that basically means is that we're going to get very heavy rainfall tomorrow morning, and then it's going to cut off extremely fast tomorrow afternoon. There will be some lingering showers still on through tomorrow evening, but the heaviest rainfall is clearly going to be from midnight tonight through 12 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. After that, the rain shuts off. There could be some snow mixing in at the very end, but I really don't expect much of any type of accumulation whatsoever, and that mix is more likely going to be over northeastern Pennsylvania, like around Scranton and around the New York-Pennsylvania state border. For the most part, no one will see any type of snowfall whatsoever, and certainly no accumulation. So by tomorrow afternoon, our low pressure system starts to pull off into southern New England. It's still rather intense, dropping down to 992 millibars, so it's a pretty strong low pressure system. But notice it's to the north of us, which means we are in the warm sector of this storm. Now, I'm expecting anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rain. Some isolated locations could exceed 2 inches, especially in heavy downpours from thunderstorms. Again, there will be a threat of some strong thunderstorms, especially over the Philadelphia metropolitan area. Winds will remain anywhere from 15 to 30 miles per hour, gusting over 40 miles per hour. Could hit 70 miles per hour, especially along the coast, but that will again be isolated. We're going to have to deal with flash flooding, especially when we consider this rain plus any snow that continues to melt off from our huge snowpack from earlier on this year. And also we're going to have to deal with some coastal flooding, especially if you're in the Battery of New York City, the southern portions of the of Long Island, and also portions of the Cape May Bay may see some minor coastal flooding, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that as well. This storm is going to move fast, so by tomorrow evening it will be out of here, skies will be clearing. This weekend is not that bad, a little chilly, but dry on Saturday. Sunday we could see a few scattered showers, but not that bad. And then next week we have a very similar storm. This storm for early next week may track a little bit further west than the storm that we're having here tomorrow. So the rainfall might not be as impressive, but there will be a chance for more thunderstorms Tuesday morning as a strong cold front moves through. So we're certainly changing into a more spring-like pattern with the threat of snow rapidly declining to 0. So some people are going to be happy about that. Thank you for choosing NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Just be safe out there tomorrow with the strong winds and heavy rain. If you can avoid driving, I would strongly suggest doing so tomorrow morning. Have a good day.